Pastor Keion Hush Henderson is asking his members for millions. Plus, Colin Kaepernick is still preparing for a return to the NFL. And while Disney is celebrating their legends, Disney star Scott Jackson is dealing with domestic battery. Hey, critics, and welcome back to the Critic Chronicles YouTube channel, where you get commentary reviews and tabloid news. I'm your host, Patricia Hartley. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. It's Wednesday, August the 14th, 2024. Hey, critics, it's time to chronicle. Today, critics, we are going black on the inside of some of the top tabloid magazines, specifically the August the 19th issues of Life and Style, as well as Us Weekly. Here at the Critic Chronicles, our goal is to provide quality but juicy content from websites, digital magazines, and tabloids, most of which are sourced from our public libraries. Research from the National Library of Medicine show that there are an estimated 17,000 public libraries nationwide, totaling 4 million visits each day. Public libraries are civic organizations that are committed to providing invaluable resources beyond books that are free and open to the public. Get your library card to access thousands of resources today. All right, y'all, you know what time it is. It's time for critical news that you can use. Side note, y'all, on the previous episode that I did, I mentioned that hip hop pioneer MC Lyte, she's reportedly doing the music for the new movie that features Kyla Pratt, and it's called The Memo. That's the name of the movie. Well, MC Lyte, she's been making her radio rounds, and she stopped by Angela Yee's channel. She stopped by Sway in the Morning. She stopped by The Breakfast Club, just to name a few. In her interview that she did with The Breakfast Club, she talks about a brand new album she's working on. She also talks about how LL Cool J inspired her to put out brand new music. She also talked about reforming Roughnecks and her voiceovers that she does for award shows. One of the reasons why you're going to hear me talk about MC Lyte so much is just because I love the voiceovers that she does for the award shows. I also mentioned MC Lyte previously and talked about her very good friend who's a financial advisor, her name is Lynn Richardson. Her actually, along with Erica Campbell, Faith Evans, it was Kelly Price, I think it was Nikki Gilbert. They launched a 3-day sort of a wealth experience event back in, oh gosh, I hope I have the year right, maybe 2016, maybe 2016, 2018. I could have the years wrong, forgive me. But whatever year that they did it, Lynn didn't stop there. She continued to produce digital products, books that gives basically practical tips on how to build wealth. Lynn also has a track record of working with companies such as Chase Bank. I believe she actually used to work for Chase Bank, if I'm not mistaken. And then she's also worked on the Steve Harvey TV show, giving different insight and information regarding wealth, as well as other media outlets as well. You can also listen to Lynn. She has a show called the Millionaires Roundtable. It's a radio show out there in WVON 16980 Chicago. Also, y'all, I know I got another side note. I shouldn't say it. Y'all know every time I say this, I still say it anyway. DJ Envy, like, you don't be knowing the legends that come on your show, like, and then also every time, I don't know why, but every time I hear you say something, I always feel like I need to fact check, because you're one of them people that will say, oh yeah, da da da, whatever, whatever. And then you also say, well, you know what? It was up to you to do your fact checking. I know I'm just kind of saying something on the side. I shouldn't have added that in there, but we won't be taking that on the show out of the show. We're actually going to be leaving it. And then, of course, USA Today talks a little bit about Colin Kaepernick. Well, the report is out that the NFL quarterback has a chance to actually return to the NFL, but not as a player. Actually, it sounds like as a member of the coaching staff. Recently, there was video that surfaced of Colin, and Colin was talking about wanting to go back to the not only the NFL, but also just continuously making sure that he's training. Well, he has a former coach, and the coach name is Jim Harbaugh. He wants him and says that if that was ever the path that Colin wanted to take, that he think that would be tremendous. I basically Jim saying that if Colin ever wanted to be, let's say, a coach in the NFL, hey, come holla at him. In fact, he also said that he did talk to him about that already, but I guess Kaepernick has not followed up with the coach to take him up on that offer. But when Colin was talking to the individual who was talking to him about returning to the NFL, he wasn't talking about coaching. He was specifically talking about returning as a player. If you remember, Colin Kaepernick is the NFL star who protested police brutality and the killing of unarmed Black men. He also sued the NFL for collusion and reached an undisclosed settlement. And so I said all that to say time will definitely tell. And I do wonder if that was a conversation that Colin did have with the coach, because Colin hasn't confirmed that part, but I would be definitely interested to know what Colin thought about that conversation specifically and out of his mouth. I also want to know what y'all think. Go ahead, put it down in the comments below. If you remember all the controversy that surrounded this particular protest, and Colin still has yet to be able to return as a player to the NFL. Wanted to bring something in a little bit new today. I see that y'all really do like my messy Christian content and commentary, y'all. So I wanted to just kind of call today's little segment the Amen Corner. If I had some music, I'd put the music out too, but it's the Amen Corner. Clap, 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 clap. Tambourine, ring, 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 ring. Just pretend, okay? Y'all know I'm just a sinner out here telling the truth about the saints who be lying in the pulpit, baby, baby. I don't know what's wrong with me today. I probably need to turn this off, start this over, but we won't. And speaking of the church, y'all, and being a pastor and all of the things, honey, you can talk, but you got to put your money where your mouth is. Ain't that what Pastor Keion Henderson said? Oh, and he needs $4 million. Now let's talk about the Lighthouse Church. It is one of the largest growing Black congregations in Texas, where Pastor Keion Henderson serves as the pastor. Well, he announced back in July that his church was affected by Hurricane Beryl. As a result, whenever churches are affected, they can file for insurance. Well, it sounds to me like Pastor Keion is not only asking the congregation for money and funds, but he's also sharing that, listen, they did file for insurance. The insurance is on the way. All of the things are happening. Everything is in order, but it's going to take a little bit more than that. He believes this $4 million is going to be great for a brand new building for a church. Now, according to what I saw, they have about 5 locations or so, one in Humble, one in the south of this, the west of this, wherever they are. But basically, you can check it out on their website. But I said all that to say his goal is to use this $4 million to purchase a new building. And I want to bring something up, because we're moving into a time that I thought was really more of a virtual sort of a world. And therefore, maybe technology is really more of the way to go versus a new building. However, look, if you saying that God gave you this vision, who am I to say that it's not? It just feels a little grimy to me whenever you have pastors coming out, to have something that's, in my opinion, a big ask of a congregation. And I know that some of you, if you really have been tracking this story, you know that Pastor Keion actually made this announcement in front of Lakewood, which is another mega church there in Houston, where he basically shared the message of what I just said and what God told him to build, which is a mega church. And he specifically was asking 2,100 people to give $2,100. Now, that's where everybody got the $4 million from. But in another interview that Pastor Keion did, not the one in which he announced and asked the church to give and all of the things, but in a separate one, and when somebody called him out and said, do you know that's $4 million or whatever, he actually had to pull out his phone or whatever device he had to do the calculations. And I think that's where I really was like, you didn't know how much you was asking these people for. You didn't know that the calculation of $2,100 times this was, times 2,100 people equated to $4.4 million. Are you really a businessman? Are you really the businessman that we think you are, Pastor Keion? I know I'm being hard, but it's true. That's my real thoughts of, it's always grimy to me whenever pastors give an ask of this level, right? And you're not just asking, I get it, your congregation, but you're asking a sea of individuals who have this belief in which they may or may not give. So we'll definitely see. I remember Creflo Dollar. He asked his congregation for a big ask, right? Wasn't it like a jet or something like that? On the flip side, though, I guess if Pastor Keion does successfully raise $4.4 million, I'm sure this is going to put him in a different realm with the mega church pastor circle. Y'all think it's a mega church pastor circle? I don't know. I just still feel like, why would you get a bigger building when technology, is really more of into the virtual world of things? And then also, is there not a space down there to rent? But never mind. Nobody asked me. Nobody asked me. Nobody asked me. If you're giving, I want to know why would you give to a cause like this? And what do you really think? Is this really something that's really about a vision that was given, or is it really more of a fleshly ask, right? Is this a spiritual ask, really, Pastor Keion? Is this a fleshly ask? I think a lot of people are every time I know folks are going to ask something like that when you're asking for $4.4 million. That's a lot. That's a lot. And it didn't help that you wanted us to know that something about something was $20 million. It just kind of gave the impression that, like, oh, $4.4 million, that ain't nothing. I'm not even asking for a lot. Yet you didn't know how much you was asking when you asked 2,100 people to give $2,100. Pastor Keon he's very Martin Luther King-esque looking. Is he not? I know he bald, but you know what I'm saying? Him and Shawnee look good together. Shout out to him and Shawnee. Shawnee a businesswoman too. I know she's sharing all of her business tips. Shout out to Pillow Talk. Hallelujah. And speaking of hallelujah, Marvin Sapp is going to be releasing a brand new album. It's set to release on August the 30th, which, according y'all to blackamericaweb.com, is going to be his 16th album. Never would have made. I don't know what album that was on, but that is at this point one of my favorite songs by Marvin Sapp. And congratulations again, Marvin Sapp. And I seen Kiara Sheard. This is not a part of my script today, but I saw Kiara Sheard, her mama, the family over there. They always doing some sort of a family duo or some sort of music and posting it online. Shout out to all the people with the voices, especially when it comes to the gospel. I have some information. You know what? Let's just go ahead and sneak to this. So, coming out of that Amen corner, let's talk a little bit about Disney. The Disney legends have been announced, and this is their 37-year tradition of the Walt Disney Company that reportedly began this with Fred McMurray. He was in The Shaggy Dog, The Absent-Minded Professor. Well, he was honored back in 1987, says WaltDisneyCompany.com. And since then, they've continued on the tradition, y'all. The festivities, of course, took place this past weekend and included some magical recipients, including Angela Bassett and Martha Blanding. Past magical legends have included Whoopi Goldberg and also Robin Roberts. And if you have Disney Plus, if you're a Disney Plus holder, you're in luck, because I believe you can stream the service. I guess they did a Disney Legends. It's a lot of people that received the Legends Award. Let me not make it seem like everybody got it, but it was a good amount of folks who actually received it. I believe also Miley Cyrus. There was a few other people, but their name escaped me. But there's an actual whole ceremony that they did, and it's available there on Disney Plus. And speaking of Disney, gotta stay on theme, unfortunately. Since we're talking about it, y'all, let's talk about Disney star Skai Jackson. The 22-year-old is reportedly expecting and engaged. Congratulations. I just feel a type of way, girl, about how we found out. She was reportedly charged, y'all, with domestic battery for pushing her fiance, reports TMZ, and security clocked the couple. And although they both deny that anything got physical, security cameras, excuse me, I don't know if they deny that anything got physical. I think they were denying that anything was a problem with them, and that they were happily engaged and expecting a baby together. But unfortunately, it still resulted in the arrest of Skai Jackson because she has officially, I think, been charged, it looks like, with domestic battery. This is not a good look for Skai. I remember the only other person I remember Skai publicly dating was the son of Solange Knowles. I believe that was one of her earlier relationships that I had heard of a couple of years ago, maybe a few years ago or so. Forgive me if I'm wrong on the years at this point. But yeah, I hate to hear this about Skai. I do hope that there's a positive outcome in terms of, like, charges are dropped and nothing happens. But I think it's out of the hands of her, and maybe into the hands of, like, maybe the DA. I didn't put that part in the script, but sending nothing but positive vibes over to Skai and her, the father of her child, or her fiance, excuse me. Let me go ahead and put some respect on that. And her fiance. I do hope that this does not mean that y'all have a toxic anything. And whatever the case may be, whether y'all stay together, don't stay together, I hope that y'all are just able to do whatever you need to do that is in the best interest, specifically of the child. And speaking of domestic battery and just sort of relationships that's not necessarily going the right way, we got Sweetie. She's dealing with something similar with her boyfriend YG, except they were actually in their own apartment. They weren't out in public. They were in their own house or wherever they were, and the cops were reportedly called. And when the police got there, they did determine that there was no physical contact. So there wasn't a dramatic ending. It was just sort of a dramatic argument that resulted in the police coming by. So hope that they are able to get all of those things worked out. Sweetie, this is the second time, girl. This is the second time, because you and oh boy of Migos, y'all also had this y'all had a little elevator incident. Well, how you go down with $1 million on the elevator? And let's talk about somebody who's in looks like a more forgiving mood. Keke Palmer. It looks like Keke might be forgiving, but her fans ain't. But that's anytime. Anytime somebody likes you and you with somebody that has caused you either harm, problems, issues, because you know everybody Keke was saying Keke ain't had no problems until she got that little boy in her life. When you got Darius, that's when folks were really saying that, oh, Keke, we ain't heard none. No. If anything, we always hear Keke with another job. If we hear anything about Keke Palmer, what is it? She got another job. She coming out with another movie. She got a girl group, right? She doing something with SZA. It's always a job. It's not stuff that's like, oh, we got problems. But as soon as she met Darius at a Diddy party, went public with him, come on now. And then they had a baby together. And then we saw the camera footage. Should I say more like the snapped images from the camera footage of, yes, what looked like to us domestic violence, or something very similar to somebody putting their hands on you when you didn't want them to. So you know how people don't want to describe it like that? That's still what it is, but let me just give a second description just in case. Just in case. I wanted to actually play something from a little bit earlier from my June 5th episode. I actually recorded something where I talked about a article that I found of Keke Palmer and her ex-boyfriend Darius Jackson, where they could have possibly made up. But this was back on June the 5th. Let's go ahead and take a listen. To just kind of follow up about Keke Palmer and Darius. If you remember, Emmy Award-winning actress and TV host Keke Palmer and ex-boyfriend Darius Jackson are reportedly in mediation for their domestic violence case. If you remember, back in November of 2023, Keke accused Darius of being abusive during their 2-year relationship. And I actually think this was prior to Cassie filing her lawsuit against Diddy. So I think this was like earlier in the November of 2023, and Cassie's was closer to like Thanksgiving of 2023. If you remember, Keke snapped photos from video in her home of what looked like Darius doing something physical to her. Now, a lot of people say that they have to see the video and all of the things and whatnot. Keke then filed a restraining order, and she got her restraining order extended in January until we thought it was going to be this upcoming July, when there's supposed to be a court date. Specifically, the court date is reportedly July the 16th. And according to blast.com, if you go back and read the report or the filings, July 16th no longer appears. And it looks like Keke has reportedly dropped the case against the father of her son, and now they are in mediation. And this is just alleged. There's definitely more to come. And this is the more to come. And the more to come is that it looks like they have had an opportunity to make up, because Darius posted a photo on his Instagram page of the three of them, meaning Keke, him, and their son, looking quite happy together. All right. Additionally, this is only a rumor only. So y'all go back and you look at the picture yourself. People think that Keke belly is poking, not from eating food. You know what I'm saying? That's what they say. That's what they say. Now, I don't know if I would read into that part, but this is what I will say. I'll say that y'all know how it is when we love people and they are with somebody who has done something like what the fans believe Darius has done, which is Kiki didn't have no problem until Darius came up in her life. That's literally what many people think. Okay. Um, and although, I know that folks, we all want them to work it out for the best interest of the child. It does send an interesting message, Kiki. So I just want to be very clear about that. You have some very young fans who follow you, and sometimes we don't want our personal lives to be an example. However, Kiki, just watch yourself on this. Watch yourself. I'm not saying it should have been quiet, but I'm saying it should have been quiet. And that's all I got to say about that. And they say behind every joke, there's some truth. Y'all, Tamar is over here playing with us. Y'all know she had that outburst that I kind of briefly talked about in the previous episode. But it's so dramatic this time that I think it might be a boost for ratings for the show. Because each one of the Bractons, they're back playing their role again. I did have a chance to watch that first episode, but folks are kind of giving mixed messages about how they feel about the episode. I think a lot of fans always felt like Tracy was not treated the best as the sister, and out of all of them, she was the outsider. And in the first episode, y'all, they actually do some flashbacks of times in which Tracy is going through her cancer battle. I think it is kind of hard, to watch, especially if you truly did was a follower of the Braxtons. And if you were like me, I don't know, I just kind of always felt like, y'all, what in the heck is the holdup on this album together? And I'm not talking about, I get it, they did a Christmas album together. I mean, honestly, I probably would have liked for them to do a Christmas album every year that they were together, especially with the show, because it would have just boosted an opportunity for, sales, and then for y'all to be able to do things more together. But this is such a musically talented family in terms of like the Braxtons. And I say when it comes to the show and how it's kind of unfolding, I say just kind of definitely do not quit the show. I say definitely don't quit this show unless you got to. But I do think that folks will get back sort of into it. But I also want to encourage the Braxtons to listen to the fans when they say what they say about Tracy, because the fans also had to grieve um, Tracy as well. So, speaking of, I don't even know what I was speaking of. I think I was speaking of Tracy, but let's go to Tamar actually right now. I didn't realize that I was supposed to congratulate her, but her and J.R. Robinson, the guy that she was on that show with, they're married. And I guess I'm not the only person that didn't know, because there was other social media outlets that didn't know either, Tamar. Well, Tamar told us when she announced on X that he was her husband, saying, JR means the world to me. Thank God for him. My husband and my children have saved my life, but I'm so mad at life. My family is toxic. I should have never went back to BFM. BFV, excuse me, standing for Braxton Family Values. Never. She then put out a follow-up tweet saying that she was single and her family was toxic, but acting like later it was all a joke and deleting all of her social media accounts. So, y'all, this is just this active, it seems like, just kind of playing games. It just kind of changes the energy of the entire story. Because y'all be playing too much. And if you remember, Tamar and JR, the reality show that they was on, it was called Queen's Court, in which her and two other ladies were looking, I think, for love. I think Evelyn Lozado was another one that was on there. And then there was Nivea, I think. La 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 la. Hey, okay, I'm having too many. I can't have no flashback in the middle of the show. Get it together, girl. Well, Tamar and JR got engaged on the season finale. So the engagement, that was not a surprise. However, I think her this being her husband is just kind of news to many. There is a resource out there that says that these two were married back in earlier this year, and then he filed for, I believe it was an annulment, like sometime, but they are still, according to reports, married. Bossum.com also says that it's unclear of what exactly sparked Tamar's online outburst in the midst of her return to the reality TV show with her family, the Braxtons. But my guess is just ratings, a little bit of plan, but a little bit of truth. Because they say behind every truth, behind every joke, there's some truth. The Tay Martians will keep us informed. Let's talk real quick and switch gears to the MTV VMAs. They're going to be coming, y'all, early September. And the VMA nominees for the culture are Meg the Stallion and SZA. They have 5 nominations. Tyler and Glorilla have 3 noms, as well as Beyonce. She's nominated for the Texas Hold'em song for Song of the Year. And also Shabuzi, who's nominated for Best New Artist. The best hip hop nominees include Drake, Eminem, Glorilla, Gunna, Meg the Stallion, as well as Travis Scott, while best R&B nominees are Alicia Keys, Money Long, SZA, Tyler, Usher, and Victoria Monet. The best Afrobeats nominees are it's Aerostar, Burna Boy, Chris Brown, Tim's, Tyler, and Usher. And then good luck, of course, I just want to say to all the nominees. And then the performances for the 2024 VMAs that's supposed to be taking place on that Tuesday, September the 10th on MTV at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And although these individuals are not a part of any free library resources that I know of, we have some individuals who are Black on the cover. Rihanna is on the cover of Perfect magazine, looking like a rich spaghetti eating queen. She actually posted some images on her IG. Shout out to Bad Gallery. And then Chloe Bailey is on the cover of August of 2004 issue of Hello Beautiful, looking foxy with a fro and a fishnet number that just hugs her curves in all the right places. Just want to give a shout out to both of them. Chloe Bailey actually just released some brand new music, and then Rihanna is reportedly. I don't, you know what? I shouldn't even keep saying Rihanna gonna potentially release new music. She technically did, because wasn't she on the Black Panther, the latest one, right? She's come out with music. It just hasn't been like an album kind of a music, right? Yeah. But the girls, a lot of the girls are actually they actually been coming out with brand new music. So shout out to all the girls, the R&B girls definitely been doing it. So shout out to them. Normani came out with a brand new album. So yeah, all of the girls are coming out with the albums. And so y'all be sure to check that out. If you don't have Hoopla brings out brand new music every Friday. So every Friday, if you have Hoopla, check on Hoopla. They bring out brand new music, new albums. Every Friday. So check and see if it's there. And then wanted to kind of follow up a little bit about the Olympics. Okay. Flavor Flav actually made a bronze clock for Jordan Childs after she was stripped of her bronze medal. And her mom, of course, thanked him for that thoughtful gift. You know, Flavor Flav, I feel, and also Snoop Dogg, as well as um probably a few more other people, they were very active over there in Paris for Team USA and just kind of cheering them on. And it was nice to see that transition where LA Mayor Karen basically got the torch passed to her, or the flag. You know, I think it's maybe the Olympic torch that they basically passed for her to bring back to LA. She safely made it back to Los Angeles, bringing back that Olympic flag, and that was handed off during that closing ceremony. And of course, you know, Los Angeles is already preparing for the Olympics to take place. Gymnastics is going to be downtown. Y'all, sorry, I read one thing that said gymnastics was going to be downtown, and I had to make it sound like that. You know, gymnastics is going to be downtown, and over there in Herman Park, we're going to have, sorry, Herman Park is actually in Houston, but, you know, I'm just improving too much when I need to be reading this script, y'all. But the Olympics is going to be right here in America in 2028. They say public transportation is going to be set for the LA Olympics, because I think some people were worried about, well, how people going to get around when it's so hard in Los Angeles. But yeah, the mayor said that they're going to be having some public transportation that's going to be there. And since we're on the Olympics, y'all, and we're talking about Blacks on the cover, let's talk a little bit about life and style, where we have Simone Biles there on the cover of the magazine. She is officially the most decorated gymnast. Let's start, y'all, here on page 10. Serena Williams and Carl Lewis, they're photographed at the 2024 Olympics playing torchbearers during the opening ceremony. And of course, Snoop is pictured and is all about his gig as a correspondent. Snoop's book, also From Crook to Cook, is on Hoopla. You also have Beyonce. She's there on page 11 wearing her opening ceremony swimsuit while introducing, of course, Team USA. LeBron James is there holding the United States flag as the athletes sailed along is it the Seine River? On the first night of the Olympics. And then a rare sighting, y'all, of Queen Latifah. She was pictured with her son Rebel, whom she welcomed reportedly back in 2019. And Glorilla is on page 18, cheeking it out, baby, looking good at her glow up celebration in Los Angeles, along with Kevin Hart, acting bad on stage, sipping on his tequila. Yeah. And then on page 20, Haley Bailey is pictured with her son Halo, whom her and DDG share. They actually recently just brought out the face of the baby. They just recently showed the face of the baby because for a while they were putting the little emoji on his face. And now they showing his face. DDG is also coming out with videos on his YouTube channel. And also, I think he has like another little channel called like DDG Chronicles, or maybe that's like a little fan page. But there's a lot of little videos that pop up that show DDG and his son doing all kinds of activities together. And I love to see it. I was actually talking to my mom about this recently and how just I'm so grateful to, as a kid growing up, have be around so many Black male father figures. And so I never felt like that was something that was missing in my life. And so I'm so grateful for that. And I just love to see parents just enjoying their life with their kids. And on page 23, Common is confessing and giving hints that Jennifer is the one, right? Stating that if I'm going to get married, it's to her. But remember, Tiffany Haddish also kind of gave the hint that he told her the same thing. So she just hope he keep his promise to Jennifer. Tiffany, don't forget, don't do that no more. Do not be on there comment on nobody's stuff, okay? Nobody. That's your ex. That should be in the past. Ex. Okay. Okay. All right. Shout out to Vanessa Williams. She also quietly divorced her businessman husband. His name was Jim Scripp in 2021. They were married, according to the page, for 6 years. And on page 24, it brings it back to Team USA, where the women's gymnastics team, who received gold medals and individual payments of $37,000. So do each person who gets okay, question. Should have looked this up before I start asking, but if y'all already know, you might as well just put it down below. So you get paid for each. So gold gets a certain amount, silver gets a certain amount, and bronze gets a certain amount. Like, is that how it go? And do everybody get paid, or is it just the group events, or you get group and individual events? Do I get to keep all of it? Like, is it all mine, or do I still get taxed? I mean, of course they're gonna tax you, right? But I'm in a different country, so is it different if I get the money over in Paris versus if I get the money in the United States? Oh, okay. Sometimes you just gotta ask because you gotta know the business of it all, right, Pastor Keion? Even though you was asking people for $2,100, 2,100 people, but you didn't know that was $4.4 million. All right, y'all. Let me just keep going on when it comes to this magazine. They also talk about that one bad colleague that is, in this case, Michaela Skinner. She was the young lady who was just talking smack about Team USA and how the girls just don't have the work ethic, and then had to ask she talked smack about her teammates, sorry, these are not her teammates. She talked smack about Team USA and then asked somebody to hold them off after she was talking all this smack, and everybody was like, girl, shut up, talking about Team USA. Yet these ladies took home the gold. Kerry Washington is on page 38 talking self-care and the importance of hydration. Naomi Osaka, she's on page 40 for the next set of her Maybelline commercial. And she also had an umbrella holder who was in charge of making sure that the sun did not melt the makeup, I'm guessing, right? And then get on page 42, Chloe Bailey is pictured at the St. Lucia Carnival. Shout out to any carnival. I believe also Rihanna was spotted at the St. Lucia Carnival as well. So Chloe Bailey says that the carnival is by far one of her favorite events, and I'll say that it's one of my favorite outfits in terms of like carnival outfits that I've seen. It's very colorful, and she says that it's one of her favorite times of the year. And father of four, John Legend, he brought out his daughter Luna to the Voice set. All right, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and save our other Us magazine for the next episode, just because I don't want to make this too long today. And if you missed the previous episode, I actually talked, I'm actually going to be linking that below. I actually talked about Jordan Childs, her medal being stripped. I talked about the Braxton's return. I talked about Kyla Pratt starring in the memo, and then Coach Prime, instead of Coach Prime now, y'all, we can call him Popo Prime. Y'all, thanks for tuning in to the Critic Chronicles YouTube channel, where you get commentary, reviews, and tabloid news. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload.